special of the Nutrimedical Report course firing line with Michelle here and your questions and yes, some announcements. Michelle, go ahead.
That was brief. Hi. Nice to be here, everyone, on this beautiful, beautiful sunny day here in Southern California. Dry as a bone, but sunny. Do you think we're going to get some rain?
It looks cloudy. We need to get some planes up there like my uncles 50 years ago. We go and fly around, and some of the guys would be flying around with us. They'd be throwing out silver iodide and seeding the clouds. It's easy to do. I don't understand why they say there's a drought here. There's lots of clouds.
Seems to me like they're pretty good at the chemtrails. It should be easy enough to
well,
see
I know
the clouds.
there's a recall going, starting to stir against Jerry Brown. He might be like Gray Davis and get recalled for monumental moonbeam incompetence. His name is Moonbeam, by the way, not Jerry Brown.
Okay, what specifically are you referring to?
He doesn't know how. He's forced vaccinating. He doesn't know how to handle the debt. He doesn't handle the sanctuary city issue. I mean, every issue he touches, he has the anti-Midas touch.
Okay. Well, guess what? We have a big sale going on our silver, which is 15% off and free shipping. So we're putting it way down to match all those crazy prices out there on Amazon and everywhere else, and they don't have free shipping. Well, they do if you have Prime, though. It's true. Prime, if you're like Bill and you got Prime, you can order from anywhere on that crazy website. Oh, my gosh. I never thought the day's coming I'm competing with Amazon. Of course, you know, they'll never get our products because they're our products, but, man, they sure take, like, the silver, and they take the Alimax and other stuff. And I'm just asking you if you support Bill and I here, Dr. Daddy B, and myself, to please purchase the products that Dr. Deagle's recommended for you.
We tell you how to use them.
From us.
Yeah, actually, there's very few people that are going to wander around and go Googling, so I don't think it was productive to mention that. But
oh, you don't think it was a good thing for me to say that?
No. But I think
what aggravates me. Why can't
I know you
it?
Shouldn't.
Why not?
Everything that aggravates you don't talk about.
Why not? Why not?
Well, we'll talk about it later. Anyway.
Well, you guys out there, listeners, know that I'm going to say whatever I feel, whatever I think, and what you get
it's the
from
Michelle Hour.
You get the 100% the honesty from me. I'm just being honest. I
well,
don't like to try to pussyfoot.
You have to know how to use it too, though. If you don't, you're not going to get instructions elsewhere. Everybody else is trying to sell vitamins or a supplement, which number one, they don't have the high 7-star supplements, but they don't know how to use them. And it's like getting a toolkit to be an engineer, and you don't have an engineering degree. You don't know how to repair an aircraft or a helicopter or a car or anything unless you have the training. And the problem is that when these sites are saying take silver, they don't know how to take it, what dosage to take, and what to expect, and what else to take with it in order to get the optimal effects.
Well, I thank God for you and your products that are ours exclusively, and I thank God for you daily, Bill, because those products no one's going to steal. Can't steal.
Right. Okay, next announcement.
So you had enough of that, did you?
Yeah, let's go on.
Okay, you want me to say something positive? How about this? Talking to Janet. Hey, Janet, over there in Georgia. And we're talking about some business stuff and whatever, but I won't bring that up today because Bill might say, stop it. But anyways.
Another day.
You know what she said is she loves to hear praise reports, and I think I have praise reports pretty much every Friday that I'm on. But for you, Janet, I thought it was pretty cool that you have, first of all, the beautiful reddish strawberry blonde hair. But unfortunately, she's in her late 40s and is turning gray. But you know what? That Indiamese, I've heard this more than once, her hair is going back to her original strawberry blonde.
Do you know why that is?
I don't know, but people say it. I don't know the technical, but I know someone that just might be able to help us with that.
Yeah. Well, first, indium is the 49 in the periodic table of elements. It's a chaperone for all the minerals to bring into your cells. Mm-hmm. And the oldest living populations on Earth, all 18 populations, have indium in their diet. Mm-hmm. The 17 of them are glacial milk from the mountains like in Georgia, where there's 100 times more people that are 100 years old. Mm-hmm. There's 2 positions in our parliament in Georgia where you can't sit in those seats unless you have 2 things. You're 100 years old and you're competent mentally. Uh-huh. They have 100 times, so 1 in 35 people is 100 years old there. 1 in 3,500 in America.
So what does indium do that actually changes
it remineralizes your body. Basically, there's a mineral called manganese that regulates the genes that are silenced when your manganese level drops below a certain level. The genes are silenced to create the pigment in your hair.
Okay.
And when your manganese levels rise in your hair follicle, then you start to reproduce the pigment, and the gray goes out of your hair. So you recolorize your hair.
Cool.
So that's what it is.
Yep.
Okay.
You know something else, Janet, that I know she's listening to, that she mentioned that I've had a lot of people say, and she thinks, I should be talking about this on the air, and that is the fact of how many people have said to me, other vitamins make them nauseous. They take a bunch of vitamins and they feel nauseous.
That's because their body
But
is
our vitamins,
their body's trying to bioconvert them, and it can't. And ours are already bioconverted.
Oh, there you go. Boy, Janet, Bill has an answer for everything. I'll try to stay professional for you today, Bill. It's not easy, okay?
Yeah.
But look at you, pouring water, sparkling water on the air. You're not so professional yourself there. We'll put that over there.
That's a good sign. It's better than coughing. How's that?
You must have a license for unprofessionalism. I don't. I must get one of those.
I have a license for anything. I'm a box agnostic. I'm a messianic believer in God, but I'm a box agnostic. I don't believe in boxes.
What's that mean?
It means you can't put me in a box. You're saying that I have to not have sparkling water on the set.
Well, it goes for both of us. I have to say what I feel. There you go.
Go right ahead.
Ron, hey.
That's why our show this hour is marginally funny.
Marginally what?
Funny and entertaining.
Marginally funny, I like that. Because I wouldn't go for funny, but marginally, yeah.
Accidentally funny.
Ron, our friend Ron from Washington, you know who I'm talking about. He's 83 years old. He's, zippity-doo-dah, just got his license for that ham radio stuff.
Oh, yeah, he's a pretty smart guy.
He is, like brilliant. Okay? Yeah. But what's amazing about him is he's 83 and he's not on any pharmaceutical drugs. That is cool.
Well, actually, I've changed the name now. And because this is another Billism, Dr. Billism. It's pharmaceuticals, FARM. You see, so
yeah.
The average person 65 or older is on 6 to 9 drugs. When you're 83, you're on at least 12 to 14.
Wow.
And one of my old colleagues, that's about 30 years ago, was a geriatrician. He said, the definition of a geriatrician is they have the ability to subtract. And they keep subtracting drugs until the patient can recognize them from one visit to the next.
Going on with Ron, he has an important question because he was in the war. He was a war vet, and he was exposed to Agent Orange. He was talking about big blue barrels by DuPont, huge big barrels of this stuff. Right. Now, he wants to know, let me see exactly how he worded it, what disease is the most common that vets get after exposure to Agent Orange?
Diabetes.
Oh.
Diabetes, number one. Okay. And their children, they get an anal malformation at the top of their spine or spina bifida.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It interferes with the folate reductase enzyme.
Yeah.
And diabetes is the most common. Also, going along with that peripheral neuropathy, we detox with NutriDefense, xenoestrogen detox, and Semethyl. Those are the 3 biggies. Okay, and of course life support, which has the 3 detox pathways: methylation, sulfation, glucuronidation.
You know a product you haven't talked about for a while? That's one of our big sellers is Nutritrala.
Nutritrala is long-acting alpha-lipoic acid. It's the most important one to protect against oxidative stress from all your fat and water-soluble antioxidant enzymes. So whether you're diabetic and want to reduce your hemoglobin A1C, or you just want to slow the aging process and free radical load, because it recycles your fat-soluble and your water-soluble antioxidant enzymes. And we have the only long-acting ALA in the world. Other people say, well, have ALA? No. We have the only long-acting slow-release ALA in the world.
Kerry from Minnesota, or no, actually that's Missouri. He has TB in his blood and not in his lungs. What would you recommend? I know you're listening today, too, Kerry. 20
drops of Nutridyne 3 times a day, 2 capsules of Alcin Med 3 times a day, Silver 100 one spray per 10 pounds body weight 3 times a day.
Will that get rid of the TB?
Yeah, NutriDefense, 2 capsules 3 times a day. It'll get rid of it. And you want to do that intensively for 3 months. Drop the dosage to half that for the next 3 months, and then retest and see at the end of 6 months where you're at.
That's wonderful. Get rid of it. That's wonderful, Bill.
Yeah.
Good to hear. He asked me that question.
Yeah. Announcements. I think you were wanting to say something about our Nutrimedical.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up in the next email. I do have one more praise report. Our friend Melanie.
Oh, yes.
You know, Melanie is from Arizona, and you know that she had a triple bypass, and
valve replacement, yeah.
Yeah, and she was telling me on the phone how amazing it was that they let her take her supplements,
Right.
And she just walked up out of the hospital in a week. And everybody else that are the same thing is lying there gray and
Gray and groaning.
Yes.
Gray and groaning in the ICU.
There's another praise report for you, Janet. Look, did I get lots in for you today? Here comes something else that's good. It's from Jeff from Pennsylvania. Hello, Michelle. I'm very thankful to you for giving me the heads up on the June batch of Nutridyne. For those of you that ordered the Nutridyne in June, I have sent out emails to everyone. There's almost 100, so I think I got everybody.
Yeah, well,
And
there's a
6
one
packs and 3 packs.
CPAC or single, and you're, what are you doing?
What I'm doing is, if you have a Nutridyne dropper that isn't working perfectly, like, if you squeeze it together and it's sticking, or it's, in any way coming off, or any problems at all, you email me at my Nutrimedical@michelledeagle.com or call us at 888-212-8871, and I will send you out a replacement bottle, because
And
we
a
had
dropper, and a dropper as well for the other one to rescue what's left of the other.
We had a bad batch of Nutridyne droppers. Now, the Nutridyne in it's great, so don't throw that out. Keep it and just use your other droppers so that you'll just have a little bonus there. But that's a thank you for loving our Nutridyne as much as we love it. And we will, I don't want you to have a bad dropper. So if you're listening and you go, yeah, that dropper was not
And by the way,
quite what it used to be, tell me and I'll send you out a new bottle.
As a sarcastic joke,
What?
You can't get Nutridyne anywhere else except us.
Oh, that's right. I don't have
Amazon,
to worry.
Vitacost, or anywhere. It's not. And it's our most powerful of all our antipathogenics. And you can't get our Allison med from anybody else.
And guess what? Mishi doesn't have to worry about Amazon for a change. I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's got Amazon. Itis.
Actually,
Amazonitis I've got over here. Oh, anyways, I want to go on with what Jeff had to say. I'll continue to purchase my Nutrimeds from Nutrimedical alone, he puts in there. Oh, my God. I love them already, because I know that they work. And may God continue to bless you and Dr. Bill for looking out for all of us for our spiritual and life-giving needs. We are truly one big family here. And
Yeah.
I'd love to have everybody together in a great big stadium. Someday.
And
That's my wish.
And by the way, we answer everybody's email, even if you're not a customer. And if you're a customer, which means you bought one of anything in the last 6 months, I'll call you back. Now, I may have to try a couple times, because sometimes people's phones are jammed up, or their messages are full, or whatever. Sometimes you'll have to give a time window when it's best to call, and I'm real busy. But I will email you back or call you back.
Yes.
And if it's only in the case where you get tons of medical records, where I'm going to request a consult and fill the form.
But that doesn't happen very often. Usually it's straightforward.
A couple quick announcements that I want to make. Firstly,
right now?
If you have a QRMA machine, send me your current history of what you're taking as far as supplements and medical drugs or other treatments, and send me in a compressed file of your QRMA. I will do if people have had a QRMA, I will do a consultation for you and tell you what changes you need to your nutraceutical plan, because it's going to change. And I recommend every 2 or 3 months you do that. A second is, we do have the new updated key and software for the bioplasm. If you contact me and you have a bioplasm, I can get you the updated key and software for that. All right, so just want to make those announcements. And there are people like our gentleman up in Edmonton, Blaine. He has a bioplasm, so if he wants the updated key and software, we have those now.
Well, the reality out there, Bill, is most people do not have a bioplasm.
No, but there's people that do have one.
However, the QRMA is not too expensive, especially when we have our sales, and it's 25% off during our sales.
Right.
I don't know if anyone realized that if you did the numbers. But that one is...
Yeah, and there are also doctors out there in clinics that want to get all the way up to Metatron.
But it makes it affordable for everybody. But, Bill, those other ones are...
Well, there are doctors and health professionals that are listening to the program.
Oh, yeah.
And they want to have these in their clinic or whatever, and we'll back them up and teach them and go into Team Groumer 10 and show them how to use it properly, too.
Mike, in an email, does Nutridyne kill parasites, and does it kill all parasites?
Yes, indeed. Everything. Any parasite of any kind, in animal or human, or in the soil, whatever, it'll kill.
Cool. Next is, this is Greg in a classified email or something. What is this, unclassified U.S. Army or something? Anyways, he says, Dr. Bill, do you have something that you can suggest for this extreme skin disease that's like Morgellons type thing? When people say that, what are they really talking about?
Here's what my theory is. Morgellons is a form of is a mycobacteria, and it's a filamentous form of mycobacteria. Most people don't realize mycobacteria share some antigenic characteristics with fungi and with bacteria. And their mycobacteria have been mutating under the pressure of extreme toxins that are added to the soil around the world. And now we have these mutant mycobacteria that are filamentous, and they're growing everywhere. And on some individuals, they go crazy.
Yes.
They're not a nanomachine. People don't understand living forms are all nanomachines, whether they're psittacosis, which is larger than a virus and smaller than a bacterium, mycobacteria, which is no cell wall and they're very tiny, like the ones that are on your periodontal and your blood vascular area of your things, and viruses, and intracellular parasites such as spirochetes. So these are filamentous mycobacteria is what I believe Morgellons is. It's not a nanomachine from outer space. And because we've been, for example, when we have increased ultraviolet light from the sun, because the sun's acting differently the last 23 years, it's pushing the what's called gene drift of viruses like H5N1 and H5N2, which is why these turkeys and chickens are all dying, because the radiation is pushing their viral gene drift toward creating more pathogenic strains. So what is infecting people's skin, we can treat very quickly and easily with our Nutridyne, Allicin Med, Silver 100, and Nutra Defense. And we can repair the skin with Copper Regenamax, Minerals Plus, Nutrifos and Neurogen, and Collagen Max, and Mountain Red Velvet. And when you regenerate the skin, you also might want to use, if it's really bad and you got sores all over your body, you might have to go add other things like curcumin cream and some other things, or even our technology like Lumen Photon, mild hyperbaric oxygen with ozone, etc. But because it depends on how extensive it is. This is like most people don't realize all diabetics are loaded to the gunnels with mycobacteria. This is a filamentous form of mycobacteria that grows in the soil, like agrobacterium. And some of these bacteria are actually fixed minerals, and when we've screwed up the soil, the bacteria and these mycobacteria and these filamentous forms have evolved, and we have created we've created new super pathogenic invasive organisms is what we've done.
When you mentioned H1N1, when I went to the grocery store this week, there's a shortage of eggs.
That's because the H5N2, which is a virus, H5N2 is now causing a plague that's killing off, and it's got about 95 to 100% fatality rate for these turkeys and chickens. And it's being spread by migratory birds, and it's a worldwide plague, but it's hitting North America. And it's hit particularly Minnesota, which is the turkey capital, and Iowa, the egg capital. Over 20 million turkeys killed 2 months ago, over 20 million egg-laying chickens killed in Iowa. Yeah, and there's other states affected too. Those are the main ones on wellness issues.
Yes, I think I'll make this one, even though his name and everything's here, I think I'll make it anonymous. He says, I've listened to your show on the Nutrimedical Report on Z Alive app. I'm 54 years old male, and I have genital herpes from the age of 30. From your Nutrimedical line, what do you recommend? I have no other health issue, and I have a Yorkie, about 10 to 15 pounds. Yorkies are so cute. 4 years old, and he's got bad breath. What do you recommend?
Well, if the dog's got bad breath, he's got periodontal disease. You can brush his teeth with Silver 100 and put some Nutridyne in his water dish.
Yes. And
I would put some powder of the half a capsule twice a day of Allicin Med, and that'll clean out the periodontal. In terms of his herpes, again, orally, I would take 20 drops 3 times a day of Nutridyne. I'd spray Silver 100 on the area of the lesions, of his herpetic lesions. And I would take Nutra Defense, 2 capsules 3 times a day, and that'll knock out the herpes because it has the ability to block the RNA and DNA viruses, the Nutra Defense.
Next is Troy from Minnesota. Hi, Bill. My father has a baseball-sized tumor on his lower stomach outside of the stomach. It's called rhabdomyosarcoma. Is this rare, and does it spread or stay local?
It's rare, and it's extremely aggressive and deadly.
Oh.
And you don't want paint-by-numbers chemo. You want to be on all of our NutriMeds for cancer. I personally would recommend that he goes to the Eisel's clinic, 2 clinics. They have one in Santa Barbara, where it's Dr. Eisel's that can do gene-based cancer therapy with off-label use of cancer and non-cancer drugs, and hyperthermia, as well as the chole and the dendritic vaccine, where they take his blood, isolate the tumor RNA, create a vaccine where his T cells are amplified in a laboratory that grows the T cells. They give them back to IV, and the T cells go crazy and attack the tumor. So that's the approach I take, and I recommend hyperthermia, hyperbaric oxygen with the ozone therapy is good. And if you want hyperbarics, we have that available. We can get a hyperbaric chamber, and you can get it on a payment plan. And we can get you an ozone machine. We have a new supplier from China that's much better than the Go Healthy Next. And just contact me, and I'll get that all arranged. But the first is all our Nutrimeds for cancer, the ISOS clinic, and hyperbaric oxygen with ozone. But don't do surgery unless you're trying to unblock a viscous, like the stomach, or a tube like your bowel, or an artery or vein or nerve. What you try to do is you try to debulk the tumor only if you have a condition where it's blocking or it's causing physical problems like that. And if you're going to do any surgery, you try to get your we call off-label use of chemo based on the genes first before you do surgery, so you prevent the spread of the tumor cells by doing the surgery itself.
Next is Christopher from New Jersey. I'm a long-time listener, and tonight I was listening to you mention that you give free consultations, and I've had many health problems since my youth. And yes, Christopher, you're right, and you're a customer of Nutrimedical. That's all it takes for a free consultation with Dr. Deagle, so I'll make sure that he gets that one. Next is Pat from Texas. Hello, Dr. Deagle. My husband is 72 years old, overweight, and has type 2 diabetes. He takes niacin ER and glimepiride or something for diabetes.
Glimepiride, yeah.
And for cholesterol. He refuses to take statins because he had severe memory problems with Zocor.
Right, because it causes dementia. So, by the way, the research has shown there's always big lawsuits over these HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors actually taking women who have elevated cholesterol and actually making them turn diabetic. So you don't want to take an HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor if you're diabetic; it'll make you worse. You want to take a cod liver liquid and neovascular lowering triglycerides, and to prevent the flushing, you take Power C Plus and full vitamin K2.
She says a few years ago he got a pacemaker because his heart rate dropped to 30. He has never been diagnosed with cardiac disease otherwise, and his blood pressure is about 120/80 and has never been high. Once a doctor prescribed some blood pressure medicine, but he didn't fill the prescription. Today he went to see a new doctor, and they did an EKG, which apparently showed some AFib. The doctor gave him samples of Eliquis. Yeah. And they did
very toxic drug. There's lots of lawsuits now over it. Eliquis. Okay. Very dangerous. It affects factor 5A in the blood, and it causes some people to have massive bleeds, and it can cause, and it's very variable depending on the person's genetics. The problem is they don't do genetic testing before they give these drugs.
Well, he says here that he also consulted another doctor, and they said to take the Eliquis stuff, but he says he does not want to take that, whatever it is.
Yeah, well, I would recommend lumbrokinase and nattokinase.
But he's concerned about the EKG, and what do you think and recommend to do?
Well, first off, for clotting prevention, and you can see it on transesophageal echo or transthoracic. You can see a stringy-like clot in there if it's present. And what you want to do to prevent that clot from embolizing, you want to see if he has an ostium secundum defect, which is a flap-like valve that 25% of the population has. So it goes from the left atrium, right atrium to the left atrium, and it can go to the superior vena cava. Go to the ascending aorta. So you want to make sure you don't have that. So you do an echogram. But I would take lumbrokinase, at least 1 capsule 3 times a day, nattokinase 2 capsules 3 times a day, and you can check your thinning of your blood with a rheologics test, REHEOLOGICS. It's a blood viscosity test. It's much more accurate than the other, and you don't have to repeat it monthly. Once you're on it about a month and your rheologics is normal, your C-reactive protein should come down, your PI1, which is plasminogen activator inhibitor 1 levels. Measure fibrin and fibrin degradation products and see if those are normalizing. And if they are, and your homocysteine is normal below 7, usually down around 1, then you're laughing. If your homocysteine is still high, you want to take semethyl and bio-LVR to start, then you add pyromethyl B12 and superfolate. But you got to get homocysteine down because a lot of people with atrial fibrillation have hyperhomocystinemia, and they're also at risk of urate stones and homocysteine-induced brain damage as well. So we put them on forskolin for the cardiac arrhythmia, high-dose magnesium glycinate malate, gamma E+, cardiovasc, omega supreme, supernox, and as we get the magnesium to the supernormal levels, and we repair the conduction pathway because our heart conduction pathway is screwed up, you want to use omega supreme krill and normalize their mitochondria because that's why they have a problem. So we want to normalize their mitochondria. That's why the mitochondria in the atria are causing the problem with atrial fibrillation. We use VascuCare 1 capsule 3 times a day, and the CoQ10 ubiquinol 2 capsules twice a day, and CoQ10 Supreme 4 capsules twice a day, and that'll normalize the mitochondria.
I was thinking about our product, Natokinase. Natokinase. You know I take Natokinase regularly because of the risk of stroke in women my age. So if you take Natokinase, does that prevent you from having a stroke?
Yes, but if you've already had previous problems or a medical thing that's diagnosed, like atrial fibrillation, you bump it up to take lumbar kinase too.
Right. But I'm talking about for preventative for women my age. Isn't
yes,
it? It's a good idea because
very good
I
idea.
take it.
Yeah, and if you want to check...
Because how many people, friends, we've heard of lots of people that are strokes. There seems to be a lot of women having strokes.
Because stroke is due to antibodies or other things like higher amounts of fibrin in their blood, and their platelets in their blood cells clump together so they have what's called higher drag, what's called non-Newtonian fluid dynamics, and their blood's thicker. And the measures actually picks up on the QRMA test, the quantum resonant test, but you can do a blood test measuring what's called rheologic thickness of the blood. It's more accurate than a SED rate or C-reactive protein.
And guess what?
And it measures actually how thick your blood is.
Guess what? For all your listeners out there, the QRMA will tell you that. The QRMA will tell you if your blood is viscous. It'll tell you all kinds of information.
Elevated cholesterol, lipids, heavy metals, your mineral levels, vitamin levels.
Unbelievable.
All the different organ functions, And then the next step up is the bioplasm or the ADLRS and the Metatron.
But don't worry about the next step up.
No,
just the QRMA is great for the
average
person like me.
I tell people if they just send me their history in a QRMA compressed file, which takes them 1 minute to do the test, I can give them amazing input. And then if they want to do like functional medicine tests, I can tell them what tests to do through directlabs.com. If they have the money and want to do the tests to say, I want to check this, that, like my female hormones or my cardiac markers and things like that, they can order it themselves, go into LabCorp Quest or have a mobile blood tech, and they can have it all drawn and sent off to their lab.
Well, the wonderful thing about the QRMA is you sit there and you're your own doctor. You just take all the
exactly.
It tells you everything.
Oh, it's amazing.
Going
it's
on.
amazing. I tell people.
So once again, though, the thing with Natokinase, do you recommend that most women my age take one every second day?
No, they should be taking at least one twice a day.
No, I don't. I take one a day. One a day.
It's not enough. One twice a day,
Why?
minimum.
Why?
An average person with a problem.
No, but I don't have a problem. That's preventative.
One twice a day. That's a minimum. That's still a fistful.
Here we go. Here we go. Tom, from Tom over in Scotland.
Yep. Go ahead.
Are you done with that?
Yep.
Mr. Professional over there.
Yep.
Tom from Scotland. Boy, Kelsey's getting to be a regular visitor here. Okay, Kelsey, bye-bye. Mommy's on the air. Close the door. Say bye-bye, everybody.
High five.
I'm having fun.
I didn't high five, play dolls.
Okay. Well, bye-bye.
Yeah, that's
okay. Tom
that's
from
her daughter.
Scotland. Talk about being unprofessional.
Yeah, that's her daughter.
I think we're going to get a trophy.
I think
unprofessional.
Kelsey wants to be on air, but she's. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. Tom from Scotland. Tom. I'll finally get to... Where are you from? Glen Prosen. We know you anyways, the County of Angus. Hello, dear Michelle. Thank you for your last order. Got it on the 3rd of July. I think I have an addiction to life support. It is so nice. I could live on this. You know what? Me too. I can't even wake up.
If a prepper supply, if you're first... I tell people have a dehydrator and take a portion of your meals and dehydrate it. But start stockpiling life support, which will last for years. It is one of the most important things for prepping. If people say you want to have someone in their car, have a 5-gallon jug of filtered pure water system water, and have some life support literally in your car, and you just mix it with water and you can survive just on that alone.
And it tastes so good, doesn't it, Tom?
Yeah.
He says, hope you and Bill and family had a good 4th of July. We did. Here's a wee joke. Did you hear about the insomniac, dyslexic, agnostic man? He stayed up all night long wondering if there was a dog. Ha ha. Lots of love, Tom. Oh, God. Okay.
That's funny.
Moving along, Tom. Thank you.
That sounds a very dry Scottish joke.
This is Helena in an email. I'm a satisfied customer and I found your products very helpful, but would like to ensure that I'm taking the right stuff for my health issues. I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Was that follicular? No?
Yeah, follicular, yeah.
In 1999.
Right.
and was given radioactive iodine, pronounced cancer-free, but then a few years later was told it returned and once again took the iodine. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, they said it returned again and refused to take the iodine again, and I'm seeking safer alternative. Can you help me?
Yes, so the first thing is Stellar and our cancer nutrimeds, Malignoblock, Malignarest, Ellagic acid, Inflamex, etc., Myco-D2, Oncomycin. And number two, what I'd recommend is you get gene-based cancer therapy. You have they can draw your blood and find out what genes you have. I go to the ISOS clinic for that because what happens is that the nutraceuticals we have will help to counter and prevent it from returning. But I would also get the additional therapies. But I would say you have to be on a Nutrimeds first, which is the Malignarest, Malignoblock, Ellagic acid, etc., in order to prevent the cancer from spreading or returning. And what they do is they will actually find out the specific genes of that cancer, because you have two types of cells whenever you get a cancer. You got the cancer cells, and you have what's called basically we call the stem cells, if you want to call it the cancer. And the stem cells, even when you eradicate a cancer or primary tumor by cutting it out, the stem cells are still always present in your blood. They can convert back into a cancer. And when you take chemotherapy or radiation, you make them up to 30 times more resistant to radiation than the previous chemo. So you have to know what its particular genes are now to shut it off, especially after 2 or 3 rounds of treatment.
Next is Derry Lynn. Derry, our friend from New Jersey, and she recently, last year, lost her husband, which if anyone feels prompted to pray for her, I would appreciate that. And she says, hello, Dr. Bill, can you email me a wellness protocol? She's an RN.
Right.
Remember her? What's that?
Dupuytren's contracture.
Yeah, she said, when I wake up in the morning, my ring finger on both hands seem to buckle. A friend of mine has this condition, however, much more severe, with pain and decreased mobility of his hands. My friend has also had a steroid injection for this condition with minimal relief.
Yeah, Inflamex 3 to 4 capsules 3 times a day. And I would also be taking probably, to try to regenerate the tissue, I'd take Collagen Max and Mountain Red Velvet. And the tendon mender, because these are tenocytes, which are the forms of fascial layers, etc. They're inflamed. So tendon mender, 1 to 2 capsules twice a day, Collagen Max twice a day, 1 capsule. And the Mountain Red Velvet, and I'd open up 1 capsule twice a day and swallow the other full capsule twice a day. And then the inflammatory Inflamex, 3 to 4 capsules 3 times a day, and that should stop the Dupuytren's.
Ross from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Would it be possible to order Ageless Energize? He goes on to say it's discontinued, but if he ordered a large quantity, he'd like to do that. Yes, Ross, at the bottom of the Dr. Bill's products, on our products page on Nutrimedical.com, if you go to the very bottom on the Z's, you will find, the very bottom of all the products, you'll find your Ageless Energize offered in a 6-pack, the Calm Mind Flavorless offered in a 6-pack, and NutriComplete offered in a 6-pack. Any product that we've had or has been discontinued and you like, just email myself or someone here, and we will make sure that we put it on for you to buy.
Order it.
In larger, we'll just order a larger quantity. Yeah. Next, Bill, is Bradley in an email. Michelle, what is a supplement that provides skin a repellent to insects?
First, if you take Allicin Med, it'll repel it because it contains thiol compounds. If you take an Allicin Med a couple times a day, bugs won't bite. And if you put it in your dog's powder or food, the ticks and mosquitoes won't bite them. So Allicin Med is an insect repellent.
Simple. Yep. Thank you. Captain D in an email. While reviewing your product list, what would you recommend for spider bites and Lyme disease?
Nutridyne. Put a spider bites Nutridyne on every 2 hours, and orally 20 drops 4 times a day, and that would help to heal. And healing the skin turner, you put on curcumin cream 4 times a day, and heal the lesions up afterward. Nutrifos, Neurogen, Regenemax, Copper Regenemax, and Minerals Plus. You can eat the copper and the copper zinc ratio, as well as the Nutrifos and Neurogen, to heal the tissues when they're damaged in Collagen Max, because it's destroyed the tissue with the bites.
Gary from Minnesota. I'm now following the 5-day stepped increase, then the repeat for the next 2 weeks as described by Dr. Bill on your website with the Nutridyne. I did hear him say that one could go all the way up to doing 15 or 19 drops after getting acclimated. But under what conditions would such a high dose be called for? Well, I know I take 3 or 4 drops orally every day. I don't know if there was Fukushima coming here or something, I would
If you're hypothyroid, overweight, diabetic, have any health condition of any kind, which is always related to infection, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, or chronic sinus, ear infections, whatever,
Yeah.
I recommend like 15 to 20 drops 3 times a day in water.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And then if you have something real serious like malaria, you can take 30 drops every 2 hours, even by nasal feeding tube if somebody's even in a coma, and it'll pull them out. Tuberculosis, like in third world countries, chikungunya, schistosomiasis, any of these real nasty parasites that can kill you, like Bot's disease, where the bot fly lays a larvae on you, and then
Oh, gosh.
all the gross things that happen, you can kill it all with Nutridyne. It'll kill anything.
Jim from Texas. He's complaining. First, he's tried to email you a couple times and didn't get an answer, but I flagged one. I think he got through to you, did he, Jim? From I don't know if you remember this, but what he says, he has 2 issues. One is unknown parasite, and the other is an unknown bacteria. After a mammogram, hand 1, 0 gram 1 week, then having a radiologist removing 4 cc's of mint green another week, then having 2 trips to the surgeon, and after surgery,
Most likely Staph aureus is probably what it was.
Yeah, he said we found he had an abscess and a tested for staph infection. That's
the
correct.
problem is that the regular antibiotics, even if it's through the PICC line, goes through the biofilm. They won't cross the biofilm, but all of our Nutrimeds, all of our antipathogenics will. Nutriodine, 20 drops 4 times a day. Allicin-Med, at least 2 capsules 3 to 4 times a day. Silver 100, all pass through the biofilm. Nutri-Defense to boost the immune system, and oncomycin are Myco D2.
So he really needs the nutrient.
And immunoglobulins, like the Nutri-Immune, the immunoglobulins will boost his immune system. So those Nutri-Defense, Nutri-Immune, and oncomycin are Myco D2, and then the 3 antipathogenics, and that'll knock it out. But you need to be on that intensively for a few months, then drop it to half dosage for another couple of months and retest, but it should knock it all out and allow you to heal. But if you have an abscess, you've got to drain them surgically or they won't heal. So they need to do an ultrasound of the areas and then drain all those abscesses, and then
All right.
they'll
Okay.
heal. Yeah.
I got to get my God bless you in there, Bill.
Go ahead.
God bless you, everyone, and have a wonderful weekend. And you have a great rest of the day, Bill, on the air.
I'm in the batter cage, and by the way, every hour of the show is open for open lines, and we have an interesting dialogue coming up in hour 3. I talked to Professor McCanny. He'll be on the air, and lots of stuff to talk about.
Have a great weekend.